Have you ever met someone whose life felt like a novel? Glamorous, dangerous, and utterly unpredictable? A woman born in the heat of India, married to a French count who wasn't quite what he seemed, who danced through royal salons and fled from the guillotine? And what if this woman, this dazzling, outlandish soul, helped shape the mind of Jane Austen herself? Welcome to Hidden in History, where shadows still speak. If you love forgotten stories that refuse to stay buried, subscribe now and step with us into the glitter and chaos of the 18th century. Today, we uncover the extraordinary life of Eliza de Feuillide, the woman who lived as if the world were her stage, and history her reluctant audience. She was born Eliza Hancock in Calcutta in 1761, a child of empire and whispers. Her father, Dr. Tyso Hancock, served the East India Company. Her godfather, Warren Hastings, the powerful Governor-General of Bengal, sent gifts, letters, and rumors. Was Hastings merely a benefactor, or something more? Society never stopped asking, and Eliza never answered. She simply smiled, as if secrets were jewels best kept glittering in the dark. When she came to England as a little girl, she brought with her a touch of the exotic world the English barely understood: warmth, wit, and the faint perfume of scandal. She was clever, she was beautiful, and she knew it. On her many visits to Jane Austen's home in Steventon, she entranced the family and encouraged young Jane in her early writing. In her letters, she wrote of dances, conversation, and fashion, with the confidence of someone destined to be seen. But England could only gaze for so long before turning away. So Eliza looked elsewhere, for excitement, for admiration, perhaps for love. And she found it, or thought she did, in Paris. Paris in the 1780s was the heart of civilization, a place of wit, music, and intrigue. It was there that Eliza met Jean-François Capot de Feuillide, a man who called himself a count. He was charming, titled, and perhaps just as ambitious as she. Soon she became the Countess de Feuillide, an Englishwoman turned French aristocrat. She attended salons, spoke perfect French, and dazzled society with her grace. But the laughter in Paris would not last. The air grew heavy with talk of liberty, equality, and vengeance. By the early 1790s, the lavish lifestyle of the French nobility began to crumble. Her count, that handsome husband, proved no hero. His title was false, his courage perhaps even more so. Yet when the revolution came, he stood with the old order and lost his head for it. Yes, literally. Jean-François de Feuillide was guillotined in 1794, and Eliza, Countess of Nothing, widow of a dead nobleman, fled through the chaos with her disabled son Hastings. Her letters from this time flicker between heartbreak and bitter humor. "My count's head," she wrote, "fell with more dignity than his claims to nobility ever held." Back in England, she was welcomed by family, among them a certain clergyman named George Austen and his clever daughters. One of them was Jane. Imagine Jane Austen, still a teenager, watching her cousin Eliza sweep into the parsonage, speaking French, laughing too loudly, wearing perfume from Paris. Eliza brought the theatre of Europe into quiet Hampshire. She joined their amateur plays, rode horses, flirted with soldiers, and filled the Austen household with stories from a world beyond hedgerows and teacups. To Jane, she must have seemed dazzling, and perhaps a little dangerous. Some scholars say she inspired the lively, worldly women of Austen's novels, Lady Susan or Mary Crawford in Mansfield Park. Women who knew too much, said too much, and loved too freely. In Eliza, Jane glimpsed what polite society dared not write, until she did. But Eliza's own story was not done. Tragedy struck again when her only son, little Hastings, died at 15. She had known the grandeur of France and the terror of its fall. Now she knew the loneliness of loss. And yet life surprised her once more. In 1797, she married Henry Austen, Jane's brother. Handsome, kind, perhaps the only man who truly understood her. With Henry, she found peace, if only for a while. Her final years were quiet but not forgotten. Friends called her witty, radiant, a survivor. Her laughter filled rooms until illness stole her breath. She died in 1813, at 51, with Jane at her side. Jane would publish Pride and Prejudice that same year, a novel full of clever women, love, pride, and survival. Perhaps, somewhere in its pages, Eliza still smiles. Who was Eliza de Feuillide, really? A scandalous beauty? A tragic heroine? Or the muse behind one of England's greatest writers? Maybe all of these. She was born between worlds, India and England, nobility and revolution, fiction and truth. She turned every misfortune into performance, every heartbreak into wit. And like the characters she inspired, she refused to vanish quietly. Her life reminds us that history isn't made only by kings and generals. Sometimes it's written in ink and laughter, in letters scented with perfume and sealed with courage. Eliza's world was a stage, and she played every act to the end. If you'd like to dive deeper into her story, discover Outlandish, the journal of Eliza de Feuillide, based on her lively letters and reimagined by Chloe Rayban. It captures her humor, her heartbreak, and the fire that burned beneath her elegance. More stories you won't believe were true. We'll link the book below. Eliza de Feuylide's life may have ended 2 centuries ago, but her spirit lingers. In the pages of Austen, in the echoes of revolution, and perhaps in every woman who refuses to be ordinary. Because some lives aren't meant to fit neatly into history books. They blaze across them, leaving trails of silk, scandal, and unforgettable words. This has been Hidden in History, where shadows still speak. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because the past is never silent. You just have to listen.